Greetings from the Himalayas on a cold day, very nice and bleak and grey. The temperatures are dropping and it's getting colder. So I'm more inside. What I wanted to discuss today is the nature of sacrifice on the spiritual path. Very often we get used to our comfort zones and we are not open to reducing too much of our material goodies. The meaning of sacrifice on the path is basically this, that if we want all of what the matrix is offering, or what all of the material world is offering for our body, mind, comfort, then we are trading it off for our spiritual depth. It's very pertinent that we follow the flow, the path which has ever been present, with the knowledge that we cannot have it all, that we will need to offload as we go along. We will need to reduce the baggage as we go along. It is part of the deal. And here is where what is sacrifice comes in. So what is sacrifice, in my very simplistic deduction, is that it is something that we need to let go to gain depth. Whether it is a mental pattern, whether it is a physical comfort, whether it is a friendship which is creating an obstacle on the path, whether it is a society, whether it is a livelihood, whether it is anything at all which is obstructing or blocking our spiritual resonance with the profundity of source. It's quite as simple as that. Then, of course, there are other sacrifices which are more intimate in the way that if we fast, if we let go of eating for a few hours in a day, that generates a certain hunger which travels in an energetic manner and generates a general hunger, a spiritual hunger as well. So that also acts as a trigger or inspiration to a more meditative mind state. Other things that we may look at is that if we are experiencing some kind of pain, a way would be to tune into that pain, that part of the body, to allow the spirit to benumb it, to spiritualize that place, to localize the spirit over there to make it less gross, less embodied, less concentrated in matter. That is another way of sacrificing. Another sacrifice is that whatever our attachments may be, if they are triggering in us psychological states which are keeping us from our journey, our sacred path, then it is best if we give up on those things. That is sacrifice. We cannot remain in a constantly triggered state which is driving us deeper into our conditioned minds. By letting it go, by starving it, we can possibly reduce its impact on our psyche eventually. If we are not mature to transcend, then we must close the door on it. That's sacrifice. Sacrifice is also cutting on our creature comforts, on minimizing a little bit as compared to the first world glut of, or the modern consumerist attitude to filling the space with random products which steal away that space from spirituality. So, not to become Spartan, but to relatively and consciously start and begin to backtrack on our general lives of abundance in the wrong sense. Another way of sacrifice would also be to allow the universe to be the benefactor, not to depend on a source which is material and which extracts from us something definitively non-spiritual, something which extracts from us something which is of the spiritual essence, like a currency of exchange. So in order to find that material comfort, we need to do away with our spiritual accumulation of wealth. That becomes a loss in the long run. All these things can be counted as sacrifice. And overall, sacrifice is the way of the warrior. That which obstructs on the path needs to go. Unless it is something that cannot be helped, like a sick loved one. That too will be telling on the psychology, on the mind, but it can't be done away with because that falls in the line of duty, and that becomes the sacrifice. You turn it, you flip it around. That becomes the sacrifice of surrendering to the spirit and to the greater unknown to take care of that situation. All these are sacrifices, and all these are very important to continue to deepen our practice. Thank you.